Section 9. Define and reference name ranges. In this section, we are looking at the various ways of defining name ranges in Excel. It will cover the following questions. 24. Define a name range. 25A. Name a table from the study guide which is provided to you with this course.
Question 24 talks about name ranges. So name range plays an important role in Excel. In this question, let's look at the question first. It says student budget 5, assign a name, range, name, tax rate to cell Q2. Very simple hai. We have to just assign a name for our cell called Q2. उसको हमको सिर्फ name assign करना है. So 1 minute, the file is just opening up. And this is Q2. He saying you have to call this tax rate. ठीक है? No problem. Tax rate. कर लेते हैं इसको. To give a name to a cell, what we do generally, we just go over here where Q2 is written. We backspace and we just type the name tax rate and we press enter. So our cell gets that name tax rate. How about the question? This is the answer. Very simple, not at all complicated to understand. So the question is, where do these name cells get stored so that they can be used whenever you want to use them? Now, I might want the names to be applicable to either a sheet or the entire workbook. All right. First, let's see where they get stored. So under formulas, we have a name manager. The name manager shows you all the possible name ranges which have been created over it. Just now we created a name range called tax rate. उसके पहले ही एक name range create किया हुआ था called table 2. Every single name range that you create is going to get stored over here, known as the name manager. This is where it gets stored. This is from where you can delete it, you can edit it, or you can also create a new one if you want. So a table 2 का एक name range बना हुआ है. Let us see what was it. So I will click on edit to see what it was. It shows me that there is a name range called table 2 which refers to A4 to M6. So A4 से लेके M6 तक they've selected the name and they've given it a name called table 2, the range. ठीक है. Suppose I want to create a name range called January. So I want each of these to be in a name range, for example. So suppose I create a name range and I say इसको ये तीन जो data है इसको मुझे एक particular name में डालना हो. So I go to name manager and I say okay, new. Automatically you will see the name January is come. The reason why the name January is come is because over here I had created a format month January, February, March, April, May. The three cells which are under January are automatically taking the name January because he has assumed that the cell which is above the selection is your heading. That's why he gives the name January automatically over here. The next question is, what is this scope? Is it applicable to the workbook? Is it applicable to sheet 1? What is it applicable to? This particular name range. If I choose sheet 1, the name range will work only in this sheet. It will not work outside the sheet. That means if I create a formula which is outside the sheet and I use the name range in it, it will not function. So generally when we create name ranges, we always choose workbook, because we wanted to be able to get applied on other sheets also. इसीलिए हम वर्कबुक का ऑप्शन चूज करते हैं. यहाँ पे आ गया बजट 4 to 6. I say okay. So I created a name range called January. Same way I'll go to new. I'm on that same name range. I'll say काम करता हूँ, मेरे को नवा name range लेना है, तो इधर क्लिक करके इसको निकाल देता हूँ और मैं यहाँ से डेटा सिलेक्ट कर लेता हूँ और इसको नाम दे देता हूँ February. सेकेंड नेम रेंज क्रिएट कर दिया मैं, जनवरी फरवरी, और मैं एक और क्रिएट करता हूं, रेंज चेंज कर दूंगा, मार्च. सो आई क्रिएटेड 3 नेम रेंजेस, जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च. आई वांट द टोटल ऑफ January, February, March. Because I created a name range, I don't have to bother about these cell names. I'll say equals to sum. And if I type January आ गया. If I put a comma and I type FEB, February आ गया. Put a comma, MAR, March आ गया. And I close my bracket. By creating a name range, I have saved so much of my effort of adding these individual cells. I created one January, one February, one March, and I press enter. And it gives me the total of January, February, and March. And here somewhere I say I want the total of Jan, Feb, and March. So I go here, I put equals to sum. I don't have to worry about which cell it is, which sheet it is, nothing. I will just put Jan. यही तो सबसे बेस्ट पार्ट है इसका. I'll just put Feb. I'll just put March. Once I do this, देखो आ गया. If my data changes over here or over here, on this sheet also it changes. Once I have created a table, every time I create a table gets a name. Every table that you create in Excel will get a unique name. My data does not have any name. You'll say, sir, what do you mean data does not have any name? What I mean to say is that when I click inside my data, I don't have an option to name all this data. Can I give a single name to this data? I can't. But when I go into a table, table gives me an option known as design. See, there is an option here called as design. ये डिजाइन का ऑप्शन यहाँ पे नहीं आता है. कहाँ पे है डिजाइन? नहीं है ना. It's not there. हेल्प के बाद किधर है डिजाइन? नहीं है. The design will come only when your cursor will be placed inside a table. बाहर प्लेस करूंगा कुछ नहीं बताएगा, अंदर करूंगा immediately आ जाएगा. I will go to design And here he will show me that your table name is table 3. As I told you, every table gets a unique name. So इसने table 3 करके नाम दे दिया इस table. I can rename this table and I can call it budget, for example. अब ये table का नाम budget है. So the first question that we read was this, that you need to rename a table and call it budget, which I just now did and showed you. That was the first thing we did just now. Question number 25A, where a table was selected and given the name budget.